Well, what is going on? Oh, I left the banner up. Look at me messing things up
Oh,
to begin with. There. Oh, I did.
rookie moves. Rookie move.
What's up, everybody? Here we are. Surprise.
What's up, Joe?
Well, now that I'm messing up the show at the very top, hey, all the pressure's off now. No, I'm good. Welcome in. It's Hump Day. What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Hump Day Hotline. My name is Joe Miller, and I am one of the hosts who's messing things up from a technology standpoint on the Hump Day Hotline. My other co-host sitting over there, go for it, brother. Who are you?
My name is Jay Spence, the King.
Indeed.
Oh, am I doing the whole thing? You can find my show. What am I doing?
No, I don't know. I don't know. We're just kind of winging it tonight, but it's just it's going to be it's all the buildup, all the pressure, right? Like the draft is coming, and like we just talked a second ago about like the fact that I'm saying like a lot. It's been 6 weeks of like buildup. Like I keep saying like it's been 6 weeks of buildup to get us to this point to where like the draft is finally upon us. Yeah, man, I'm ready. Like the draft is what is the draft a big event for you? Has it always been? That's my mom. Has the draft always been a big event for you?
Hey, mom. For me, no.
No.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm still not a big draft guy. I'm a draft night guy. So like the actual event.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
But leading up to it, no. Like all of this this build up, I was never like a mock draft reader. I was never a participator. so this year being a content creator for the first year, this is different for me. But it's fun. It's a new experience. It's fun. It's just it's a lot.
I love draft parties. So I'm used to having draft parties and get-togethers and stuff like that. And I have not had one for the last several years. Since moving to New York, I haven't had one at all, just because my circle of friends that I kind of hung around with back in Ohio are in Ohio. We've always threatened to get together, whether it's here or there, or one of my buddies moved to Richmond, Virginia, or out there. It just has not materialized at this point, which is probably good because we have live shows and stuff that we do now. But question for you and question for the comments, those of you that have joined us here on the Hump Day Hotline. From what you remember, so and I don't mean like my favorite draft pick was blank. There's got to be a why behind it. What was your favorite Buffalo Bills draft pick? I have, I think, 2, maybe 3, but like where you researched a guy or whatever, and the guy turned into something you thought he was going to. Who was your favorite draft pick ever?
As a Buffalo Bill, or
yes, you mean Buffalo Bill. And you guys can fill up the comment section. Same thing. Who's your favorite draft pick the Bills have ever taken and why? Briefly.
Well, okay. If I'm gonna have recency bias, if I have recency bias, then I'm gonna go Josh Allen. Because I mean, it feels great to finally have the guy. We've gone through like 70 of them. So like to have the one now, it's like, oh, this was great. If I'm gonna move prior to that, I would. Again, recency bias based off of my week. I would say the guy that I interviewed last night, CJ Spiller, man, he that dude, like I was telling you before we went live. For me, I remember the Super Bowl era. I was alive and all that, but I was a kid. So like,
right.
I remember it, and I remember watching film, and I can see stuff now. But as an experience, my memories, the team that CJ Spiller, Stevie Johnson, Freddie Johnson, like Fitz. Freddie Jackson, I say. That was my squad. Like for me, that was the fun team. So Stevie is my favorite Bill of all time.
Might be.
So really, you know what I should say?
OJ Simpson. Who?
OJ. No, I say Stevie's my favorite player. So
let me more qualify what I said. So favorite draft pick, not because of what. So like for me, Josh Allen would not have been my favorite Bills draft pick because I didn't want Josh Allen. Like at the time, I wanted Josh Rosen, and it was wholly on selfish reasons. The reason I did not want Josh Allen and I wanted Josh Rosen was because we had just made the playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. And like I didn't want to get into a project situation and wait 3 years for a guy to develop. My thought was we have a playoff team. Get me a quarterback that's ready to play football, and let's make the playoffs every year going forward. I was wrong. So Josh Allen to me would not be my favorite. He's my favorite Bill, but he would be my favorite draft pick. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. I got you. That makes perfect sense.
So I'll go with one. So for one of mine would be Stevie Johnson. And the reason that Stevie is a favorite draft pick of mine is because I did a bunch of research on Stevie. Not so much before the draft, but when the Bills drafted him in the 7th round, I was like, well, who is this kid? And as I kind of began to peel back the layers to discover who he was, what he did at Kentucky, all the success he had, what his game film looked like, I was like, this kid can play. Like, he's good. And if you remember about Stevie, like the first couple of years that he was here, he didn't get a lot of shots, and a lot of Bills Mafia were kind of down on him. Like, they were very much like, he's Stevie Johnson. He's not going to amount to anything. He's the 7th round draft pick out of Kentucky. And I was like, no, this kid can play. And then when he got his chance, sure enough, like 3 years, 1,000 yards a season. So he would be one of them for me. So that's more or less where I'm driving at. So Cam Greasy says, at the time I thought Watkins, what did that say? Was going to be superstar.
He or she.
Same. I thought the same thing.
Well, you know what? So Monday when we had Jim on, he made a very valid point, because now hindsight 2020, everybody's like, man, that was a horrible pick. It hurt us, to trade up for him at that. But he's right, man. Like if you thought you were going to draft a wide receiver that was going to give you Julio Jones type production, you move up to 4 or 6 or 7 or whatever, 10 times out of 10 to do it. It just so happened that Sammy broke his foot, and then blah 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 blah. So I can see Sammy. It just didn't pan out. You know what I mean?
No, that's good. What's interesting about the Sammy? So for everybody that's tuning in, this is going to be a very casual evening. So all the buildup has led up to, it's time to take a little bit of a deep breath before the draft actually happens tomorrow. And we've got some good content tomorrow night. Bruce is coming on with you, right? You guys are going to do a live show. What time is that on? Is it before the draft or during the draft?
It is prior to the draft. I believe it starts at 7 p.m.
7 p.m. And then Friday night, John Fina and myself are going to be live at 9 o'clock, and we're going to recap our first pick, second pick, and hopefully getting into the third pick, maybe projecting, or if the Bills have jumped up to take somebody at that point in time. But this is going to be more of a casual evening. So if you're looking for like serious, like hard content, you're probably not going to get it tonight from us, because we're in a little bit of a casual mood. So Sammy's a good one. Spining or treeing off of that Sammy conversation with Manos. What's interesting about that is, he said he was talking about Sammy, and he should have been, and there was obviously better, quote unquote, better wide receivers in that draft. Mike Evans is Mike Evans. The Bills didn't get a shot at Mike Evans, right? Didn't Mike Evans go before Sammy did? Didn't the Bucks take him prior to the Bills? Obviously you've got OBJ in there. But what's funny about that is, I don't know at this point in time that I'm considering, it's OBJ is making a living today off of a couple great years that he had in New York. Like, OBJ is OBJ. And this is what I'm going to say. Off of my conversation with Reed Ferguson on Sunday night, Reed Ferguson literally said to me, like, live, when I first saw Stephon Diggs and his hands, I immediately was like, this guy can catch the football better than OBJ and Jarvis Landry. He goes, and I was at LSU with both of those guys, and this guy's hands are definitely better than those guys' hands. So it's just kind of funny that when you consider that Sammy situation, Mike Evans is clearly the stud in that group, in that draft from the Sammy Watkins draft. But yeah, I don't know that it was as big of a miss as maybe I don't know. Yeah, he should have. Where did we talk about it? Or did we read about it? Like, Sammy should have amounted to more than he did, right?
I think we were talking about that with Jim, and I feel like we've all talked about it more than that too. Before we move on, though, I do want to just, because I'm gonna put respect on OBJ. I'm not gonna just let that slide. I'm gonna let you. I respect your opinion. No, I respect your opinion. I'm saying I'm gonna respect him. OBJ is still very, very good. I don't think he. I
didn't say he was bad.
No, I know. No, you didn't. But I'm saying I don't think like his recent. I don't think his numbers as of late are a true reflection on his talent. And, I'll say that. I think his situation, it reminds me kind of a Diggs situation now, where Diggs wasn't as happy and just wasn't in the right type of system for him to flourish. He came to Buffalo. Now, I think if OBJ got into a system that was built towards his talents, and he had a quarterback that could get him the ball like Diggs got in Josh Allen, I think we would see the same OBJ. OBJ is a beast, man. Like, he's a beast. And I think it just sucks that, I know Baker played better. I know he got to the playoffs and he played, well last season compared to, still Baker and OBJ. It's not the It's just not the squad. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
OBJ is nice, man. I'm just saying, OBJ's nice.
You taking Stephon Diggs or OBJ?
Well, right now I'm taking Diggs. That's my guy. Like, he's on my team. I'm not.
Okay,
You know,
back up to last year, and they're both up for sale for a first round draft pick. You taking OBJ or Diggs?
For a first round draft pick, I mean, I'm going Diggs right now. Right now, I'm going Diggs.
And I'm going to ask you the follow up would be: are you taking OBJ or Sammy?
OBJ.
I don't know.
Nah, I know OBJ.
Sammy's issue has been injuries, but Sammy has the shake. Sammy has the hands. Sammy has the ability, but
Sammy does have the ability.
He's been often injured. OBJ is a great wide receiver. I'm not saying that OBJ is not a great wide receiver. What I said was I'm not sure that, and Evans I think went at number 10. Somebody in there said that he did go after Sammy. What I'm saying is I'm not sure that the gap between OBJ and Sammy is as large as maybe we had thought it was like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, is all I'm saying.
Oh,
like,
no, I still think OBJ is quite a bit better than Sammy. I don't think Sammy is not towards the top of the league of receivers, even when healthy. I don't think I'm not putting him top 10 in the league.
I think
to me, healthy OBJ is top 10 in the league.
I think it's a will issue. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, I think it's a will issue with Sammy.
I don't know. I think the entire time I've seen him in the league, he hasn't been a top 10 receiver. I've seen OBJ be a top 10. But what I'm saying, it's true. It could be the will.
Like Stephon Diggs has the will to be the best wide receiver in the NFL. Mike Evans has the will to be like some of these guys have they just will, and OBJ has that grind in him. Sammy's just kind of like an alien. Oh, here comes the football. Like, you know what I mean?
So, I mean, I guess it comes down to it's like, but what we've seen. So you're right. The will. I would say that energy is the factor, but I haven't seen Sammy like grind mentally enough to say, you know what? Yeah, I want to be the best in the league.
Yeah,
I've seen OBJ try. I've seen Stephon Diggs, and I've seen him continuing to try. I haven't seen that out of. I just haven't. I haven't.
Yeah. I'm going to run through some of the. Wow, Richard Rush going way back. I wanted Thurman Thomas all day. Was a beast at Oklahoma. I'm not that old. So Richard, you got me beat there, bro. That's really good. There's some good stuff here. So where does Diggs count? Diggs does count. We were just talking about that, Spencer. Reuben Brown, that's a good one. Joshua says Reuben Brown turned the offensive line around with that Mamba mentality. And what I was asking, just for those of you that have joined a little bit late, is what's that?
No, I was saying that was a good one. Reuben Brown.
Is it like who was kind of your favorite pick? I have a couple other ones that were just favorite picks of mine by the Bills. I remember it was overjoyed when Ed Oliver fell to us in 2019, which was awesome. The thing about Zay, I don't remember being excited about Zay Jones ever. Were you excited about Zay Jones? That
I was. I wasn't excited. I didn't think he was going to be a number one receiver, but I thought that from what I've seen, he had sure hands. He could catch very well in college. When he was at TCU, that guy caught everything that was thrown his way. I don't know what happened when he got to the league. I don't know if it was nerves. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but
I remember
Hardy.
I remember
size,
Cam Greasy says James Hardy. The thing that sticks out to me about this draft and James Hardy getting drafted is remember the visions I still have, or the pictures I still have in my head of him holding his child crying, right? Because like our future is now different. Like I'm going to be able to provide for you and give you everything that you're ever going to need. And clearly it ended in tragedy. Like, there's only one word for it, and tragedy. I remember when we took Willis McGahee, that was insane.
Let me ask you this. How excited, and I'm not talking about once the season started, how excited was everybody in Buffalo for Aaron Maben?
I was not.
Draft night, dude.
Were you?
I wasn't. No, I wasn't. But I'm just saying, like I remember everybody like, well, he's going, like he was supposed to be this athletically gifted, just freak of nature type player, and he was just not. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what happened.
So this is a good one from the real Chris Yankee. How hey Joe and Jay Spence, how did you guys feel when Ed Oliver fell to us in the 2019 draft? How'd you feel about that? I was excited.
I was excited about it. I didn't know a lot about Ed besides what, obviously the clips and then what everybody was talking about. But the thing about it was I felt that he was drawing a lot of comparisons unfairly. I think that's the reason why currently I think Bills fans are hard on him right now, because in the draft, he was drawing comparisons to Aaron Donald. And they're like, he's going to be like him when he gets in the league. He has that type of athleticism and this and that. Unfair to compare him in that way. But I still think Ed Oliver is going to be a very, very good player. Like, I think he's good. I just think I know Jim had a difference of opinion about that as well. I just think he's out of position, man.
I was surprised by that. Like he slipped because he said, I can't believe that Bills Mafia isn't more all over like the front office because of the Oliver pick and Tremaine Edmonds, because they get owned in the run game often. That was almost a direct quote. And then he caught himself and he was like, yeah, I'm not saying they're bad players. They're good players, but
and I love how open and transparent he is. And, and God bless him. I appreciate it. Obviously on my show and for me to get that soundbite, but at the same time, it's like, I agree to disagree there. And I know he has way more football knowledge than I'll ever have, but I just don't think that Oliver, I don't think he's a bust. I think it's way too soon and I think he's played better than anybody we would consider a bust. So I don't think he's is he a superstar yet? No, but I definitely don't see him as a bust. And Tremaine Edmonds, I know some can argue it's a popularity contest when it comes to Pro Bowls, but I don't see him being a failure either. Like the guy made 2 Pro Bowls.
Right.
I just don't see it being that way.
Yeah. I love this. Cam asks, I think one of the hardest parts with drafting Sammy was how many good wide receivers were in that draft. Hindsight to me is a little bit of 2020. I don't know what your recollection was. For me, the 2 dogs were Evans and Sammy. And when you watched film, Evans was pretty much who Evans is now. A lot of over the top stuff, a lot of deep stuff, sure-handed, contested catch guy. Sammy just looked dominant and bigger than everybody else he played against.
Yeah.
He had a lot of bubble screens. He had a lot of like wide receiver screens that he would take to the house. Like he had a lot of shake and bake. They were different. So I remember watching the 2 of them and just feeling like Sammy was the better prospect and like going to be the better pro versus just another tall, deep guy.
See, I felt that same way. I felt like for the Bills, because obviously we were thinking, okay, we don't know if we got the guy in EJ, but we hope that he can develop into that.
Yeah.
So to your point, he did a lot of bubble screens and that. So it's like, okay, we can use him that same way, and that can kind of help EJ because he's still not developed enough to just take over the game.
Right.
But when EJ grows to that, we got a guy that can take the top off. We got a guy, and yeah, man, Sammy, he was so aggressive with catching the ball. He would rip the ball out the air, man. It was like, it was one of the most beautiful things to watch when you're looking at film for wide receivers. Like he was aggressive taking the ball out the air. So I love Sammy. Like you said, hindsight 2020, he was supposed to be the best receiver in the draft. We were supposed to be talking about Sammy Watkins the way we talk about Megatron and the way we talk about Julio Jones. It just didn't happen. Injuries, and then obviously a new regime comes in, we ship him out, and things just never work. But Sammy he was supposed to be that dude.
I think he even came out at one point and said that he didn't really try real hard. Like he wasn't reading his playbook. He wasn't doing one of the things that he was supposed to be doing to like succeed here. Didn't he come out and admit that?
He did. Well, Sammy came out and admitted a lot of things that I wouldn't publicly admit. I'm just saying, there's a lot of things I wouldn't personally come out and admit publicly, but God bless Sammy, man. I love him.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's absolutely true.
Your fake brother says OBJ has the most.
No, that's my real brother. That's
the real one.
That's okay. My real brother. Yep.
All right.
The problem
other Andrew was the fake one.
Yes, the other Andrew. Yeah. The interesting thing, you can leave that comment up. I don't buy into combine tape and combine film. Do you buy into combine film? Like the shuttle cone drill doesn't mean anything to me when the pads go on in September.
It does. It means something. Like if it didn't mean anything, they wouldn't put so much into making sure that these guys test certain ways. It translates to the field. Now, I also agree with you that it also comes down to it that when it's game day, you gotta beat the guy that's across from you. So it does come down to that. But you can tell for the most part, not every time. It's not 100%. Like guys have missed, guys have come in and graded out perfectly and been complete busts. But guys have, like, I'm telling you, for the most part, the way these coaches grade Brandon Beane has a formula that obviously works. He drafts very well.
He does.
These numbers matter, man. These numbers matter.
The hard part for me when I can, so some of it is past experience. One of my very good friends had a son who played left tackle for OSU and then transferred to Cincinnati, and all of his metrics and measurables were like kind of like off the scale And just some of the stuff that he was telling me about some of those metrics and what coaches and the stock that they put in them versus being able to play. The bigger real life example to me is, I promise you, I can guarantee you, and somebody can, the comment section loves to Google. You guys can Google it if you want. I promise you, John McCargo had better metrics up and down, left and right, sideways yesterday, today, and forever than Kyle Williams. And McCargo was off this roster in 2 years, and Kyle Williams is going on the Wall of Fame. Yeah. I just don't know how much a shuttle cone drill matters. Like I said, when the pads go on, like when the pads go on, it's just different, right?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree, but I still can see the value in it. I
can see the value.
I actually had this debate. Well, I just had this debate the other day, like literally the same exact debate, because one of the guys that I talk to on the regular now, he's like, he believes in combine numbers, like to the point where it's like, like, no, let me look at the numbers. And if they don't grade well, to him, they're not going to be a good player. And I disagree there. Yeah. Because, like, for instance, we saw how they bashed DK Metcalf, and I wanted the Bills to take DK Metcalf. Can you imagine Josh Allen with DK Metcalf? Now, we got Diggs, so thank you. But could you imagine DK Metcalf with Josh Allen?
No, I was down on, I told you I was down on DK as well. So I was
so upset.
There was a rigidity there. There was a smoothness that was missing in his game that I didn't like, for as much as he was being hyped. And I know that's it was just an eyeball thing for me. I know that's really strange. It's probably
no, man. Every time, every single play I saw of him from college, he was completely dominating everybody.
It's just hard
when I saw him working out, he was dominating. He was just big.
It's hard for me to, even from a Bills standpoint, it's hard in our recollection and memory. It's hard for me to buy into a lot of this. Like, no, the measurables matter. And so, like, because, when you look at Fred Jackson, who was undrafted, when you look at, now his escapes, Jason Peters, who was an undrafted free agent tight end, right? That the Bills turned into a left tackle, and now he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Like, he's going to the Hall of Fame as a left tackle in the NFL. It's interesting, but we're talking about, just so everybody, those of you that are watching the Hump Day Hotline, or those of you that are paying attention to us watching the Hump Day Hotline, we're talking about just great memories of draft picks, not necessarily like, I love that player. Thurman Thomas was my favorite player. That's not what we're talking. We're talking about, like, memory. So I remember specifically when the Bills drafted Eric Woods. I remember wanting Julio Jones or AJ Green and taking Marcel Darius. I was so pissed. That's a great memory. I wanted Marcel 3, right? Didn't we take him at 3 or something like that? It was high.
I wanted Marcel too. I wanted Marcel.
I remember taking Eric Wood, and I think I've told you the story, because I wanted Mack. He was the center that I wanted for the Bills was Mack. This was, and I can't remember the name of the guy that we had before him, before we got Eric Wood, but the Browns took him. What the heck was his name? I can't remember his name. Anyways, and then the Bills ended up, like, later in the round, or later the first round, taking Eric Wood. And I was like, who the heck is Eric Wood? So it got me on this whole roll of, like, trying to, like, discover who Eric Wood was. Like, I started looking up film and, like, Googling his stuff and, like, watched his highlights. And obviously Eric turned out to be an all-time Bill, which is really, really great. I remember the McGahee. Do you remember the McGahee draft?
I do.
Alex Mack. Thank you.
I didn't want McGahee because I was nervous about the knee injury.
Yeah.
So I wasn't excited about McGahee.
That was a weird Jeff Hangartner. That is who Chris, man, we need to just bring you on the show and you can be like the fact checker guy. Hangartner.
And Chris, wait a minute, because Chris be dropping knowledge, man. Chris earlier he DM'd me and Joe.
Yes, he did.
I don't know if right now is the time to bring up the information that he sent us, but it's like very good. It's like very good stuff. I'm like, wait, Joe, we might need to hire him as like like our stat guy. Like, go and find this for.
Legit.
Like legit, dude. We're gonna bring that up one day on the show, Chris. Thank you for that DM.
So Jeff Hangartner, we bring him in, right? And he's supposed to be this good center, and like it was crap. It was awful. So then it was like the Bills clearly needed a center, and I was all on board with Alex Mack. I was like, he's the guy, and he was. Alex was a great football player. Browns took him. I was not happy, but the Bills got Wood, and to be honest with you, it worked out great. I love Eric Wood. Who else? So I remember, there you go. I remember wanting CJ Spiller so bad and was surprised that we took him. His college tape was so impressive. I think I was surprised too. Where were you at on the, like, pre-draft on CJ?
Dude, well, I loved him, but I was shocked because and I think if you watched the show last night, everybody knows, like, my favorite of all time is Barry Sanders. So CJ that year coming out, well, he had the turf toe injury, but if you watched him really prior to that, he wasn't Barry, but he looked a little bit like, you know, he had the elusiveness kind of like him. He was so like, I loved him, but I just never expected. And that's why I asked him the question, like, you know, how did it feel coming to Buffalo? And it was Marshawn there, like Marshawn Lynch was the guy. And he's, you know, and he was just like, man, I didn't even look at the roster, to be honest.
I was surprised by it's like, because you think he'd get there on day one and be like, wait a second. Wait a second. Like, those two guys are good. Like, why am I
was
here?
like, I didn't even pay attention. I didn't care. I was just like, okay. Yeah, but I was excited for CJ. I was.
Marshawn is another one. Pre-draft, I was 1,000% on board with Marshawn. Like watching his college tape, watching his film, and I was like, and the whole driving the golf cart around, and Bill's Mafia on the Bills message board back then was panning him for like being a showboat and flashy and everything. I was like, bring me that guy. Bring me that guy.
Give it to me.
You read that one?
My man Kennedy says he remembers being excited that we took Peerless Price.
Yeah.
Now, you know what? I would love to. Now, so this whole time, so I hate to jump back into draft talk like we didn't want to do, but we've all been talking about running back, you know, obviously Travis Etienne. We've been talking about cornerbacks, and we've been hearing about Caleb Farley and all this stuff. Dude, it's not far-fetched that the Buffalo Bills take a wide receiver in round 1.
I'm just
telling you.
I can't see it.
I know you can't see it, but really just take it, just think about it for a moment. We don't have, like, after next year, we're gonna have a hole. We're gonna have a Emmanuel Sanders signed a 1-year deal. He's older anyway. You want somebody younger. Cole Beasley will have 1 more year left on the deal that he's currently on. He's not necessarily getting younger either. You know what I mean? Diggs, I know he's around. Gabriel Davis is around. Isaiah Hodgins is around. Do we think Isaiah McKenzie is a guy that's going to turn into a lifer for the Bills? Or do we look at him as a guy who took a 1-year deal on a good team who might have a chance to win a Super Bowl and then waiting for the money to go back up with the cap space next year so he can really get paid? Like, we're going to have a wide receiver hole.
Yeah.
I can 100% see them bringing somebody in to really get schooled under Stephon Diggs and Emmanuel Sanders at the same. Could you imagine learning under 2 of the best route runners in the league at the same time?
Right.
I could 100% see it this year, man. I know, I get that it might not be the sexy pick. I could see it, man.
I can't. It's not that I can't not see it. The things that play for me are Isaiah Hodgins is one of them. He's one of the things that play for me. And the reason that is at play for me is the talk and the chatter that was there with Gabriel Davis, right? Preseason last year, like the amount of like what people were saying. And then he got hurt, which is unfortunate. Now we don't know what he is. And it's going to be interesting to kind of see what that amounts to and where that goes. Yes, Beasley's getting older. Emmanuel Sanders is on a 1-year deal, and Isaiah McKenzie is right now on a 1-year deal. But we're also, rostering 6, 7. We're rostering a lot of wide receivers. That's another question too. Are we going to roster this many wide receivers? I don't know. When it comes down to what the chat in the comment section needs to think about for me is the concept of best player available. Because there's always we take best player available. And that's what we always hear. And you talked about it with CJ, and you talked about it with Jim, like best play. But there's a level of we take the best player available, but our board and who's in our team does kind of matter a little bit. And I think if ETN is there or Najee Harris is there and a wide receiver is there, I think the bigger need at that point is running back than wide receiver. I think if ETN's gone, Najee Harris is gone, and all the big horses are gone, I think then it's different. But as it pertains to needs, one of the questions that I had for you, and I love this topic, so I'd like to stay on it, wide receiver, running back. But one of the questions I had is like, what is the biggest position of need in your opinion on defense for the Bills? Like what position can we draft that's going to have the biggest impact, and why is it cornerback?
You already knew where I would go for that.
Because it's cornerback.
It's quarterback. Yeah, 100%.
But I don't want to pivot. I like this topic. Like I'd like to stay here. So.
Okay, well we can stick here for a while. So the thing about the running back wide receiver thing, I'd argue with you that I don't think the Buffalo Bills. Now I know the smoke screen, and I know even what I've been talking about Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
But I really don't think the Buffalo Bills see the running back room as a weakness on this roster. They have a committee. Last year they were missing the speed. They went out and got a guy who he brings every bit of that speed that we want to have. If you want to have a running back or running back by committee, this is the perfect formula for it. Zach Moss, Devin Singletary, and I just said his name. What's his face? Breida, Matt Breida.
Brady,
So this is the perfect recipe for a running back by committee. I know wide receiver isn't a need. I'm saying next season it will be. Right now, I'm saying our weakest position is tight end.
Yes.
I reserve the right to kind of step back on that because I haven't really had a close look on Hollister. He and Josh have a really good relationship. Obviously, in college they played well together, but I don't know what he's like now. So I reserve the right to change that later on. I want to get a good look at him.
I don't know what necessarily to think either. And what's funny to me is he's one of the, normally I'm always the guy that's got my head on a swivel based on the teams we're playing. So remembering back to that Seahawks game, I don't remember Hollister having the game that he had. So like when they were giving us all the highlights after the Bills signed him, I was like, wait a minute, he had that good of a game against the Bills. Why don't I remember him? Like, why is I
remember that.
You do remember? Yeah, I don't. It escaped me. So
I think the reason why you don't remember it is because that was the one game this season where I was the nervous one and I was texting you and calling you like, Joe, because I was so scared. I was afraid of Russell Wilson. So I think that game, it was more about how the Buffalo Bills were like, we're here, like, because it was a different type of win for us. It was like, okay, Joe, I know we beat them and I know we did this and I know we did this, but okay, this is Russ. I think we need to relax. And so I think it got to the point where even though they were moving the ball, we were stopping them. We intercepted them in the end zone. And so I just think the overall game, it was like, okay, forget what happened. So I think that's what happened.
AK Cash says, my thing is we signed Breida, drafted 2 running backs in the last 2 drafts. Beane is smart. Beane equals smart. Didn't hear rumor, but if truth to rumor, I think Beane is working that smoke screen and defensive end cornerback is over wide receiver running back early. I don't know what to make of the smoke screen. I don't know that I buy into smoke screens. Thoughts on smoke screens? We're drafting 30. We're not drafting 5.
So this is why I think it's a difference. In years past, I think smoke screen conversation makes sense. We're at the point right now where there are no surprises. Like, we're not drafting 4. Where it's like, they have this need. They should be drafting a quarterback here.
Mike Williams.
And then we go and take right. That's not what's happening. We're at 30.
Right.
So when you're talking about 30, okay, we're talking about defensive ends. And there's a couple guys that I'm seeing linked to the Buffalo Bills at 30 who apparently has very good talent and can get to the quarterback.
Sure.
But you also have to understand when you're drafting at 30, you're not getting guys like the Khalil Macks.
Right.
You're not drafting those guys. You're drafting 30 is basically the first pick in round 2. It's like that. It's that caliber of player.
Yep.
So I just want you to understand, if you're getting the caliber of player at Travis Etienne at 30, as opposed to probably the 3rd best defensive end in the league, that's how I look at value. Am I getting the 1st best running back, or am I getting the 3rd or 4th best defensive end?
I agree 100%. But is there a value chart for the team on a position? So are they valuing defensive ends over running backs? So even though the running back is the number 1 running back on the board for the whole draft, do they value the 3rd defensive end more than that guy? And those are the things that we don't need. Chris's point, days before the draft, you're always hearing a lot of smoke screens. I disagree. The Bills have always been in that vein of, other than when they drafted 27 and got Tre'Davious White, the Bills have always been like, they need a running back, they're going to take Marshawn Lynch. They need a right tackle, they're going to take Mike Williams. They need a wide receiver, they're going to take Sammy Watkins. They need, like, it's always been very like, they need a linebacker, they're going to take this guy. They need even Lee Evans. Lee Evans wasn't much of a surprise. I was upset that year because we didn't jump Pittsburgh and take Ben Roethlisberger. How does this franchise's history completely different if we just jump one spot and get ahead of Pittsburgh to take Big Ben instead of Lee?
So happy we didn't.
Really? Big Ben?
Yeah, I'm so happy we didn't take him.
Man,
his character, man. He's a dirtbag of a guy.
Player. I'm talking player only.
I'm talking character too. Everybody in Buffalo always wants to talk about character and stuff. And Beane doesn't want that guy. He wants this. He wants that. Okay, I don't want him. He's a dirtbag of an individual off the field, and I publicly would say that about Ben. Off the field, those allegations are dirtbag allegations.
Well, they were 12 years ago or 13 years ago, but yes, they were the ones that he was what he was accused of. But yes, my point is just, when we're talking about talent, when we're talking about players, we live in QB purgatory forever. Anyways, that's not what the point was. We have a need, right? We have a need. There was also the year we took JP, right? Did we take JP in that draft? So right behind him.
I believe so. Yep.
We jumped up and took JP. But we were talking about running backs, or no, running backs or wide receivers. I just don't know from a smoke. I don't know what smoke screens get you at this point. I don't know. Right. Because you said it at 30, it's no longer, you have a need. It's defensive end. That's the best edge rusher. You're drafting third. You take that guy. Like at 30, it's like, here's 6 guys. You can have, like, it makes sense to take any one of these 6. Just take one of these 6 guys. So I don't know what the point of, a smoke screen. I don't know what the point of, like, yeah, call Ian Rappaport and tell him that we want Travis Etienne. Like, I don't
think that, dude, for the last 4 years, you don't get anything out of one Bills drive. Like, nothing.
Agreed.
So I don't believe that anybody is going to be calling Ian Rappaport or Todd McShay saying, hey, we're looking to trade up because we want this running back. No.
I don't know what the benefit. I mean, I guess it leaks. If it leaks out about trade ups, the only place it leaks out is from the other team. So the other team says, hey, 4 teams have called us about our pick at 15. And, the Eagles, the Bills, and whoever else was, that's who was calling. And then it turns into speculation of who they want, per se. Chris Jenke says there's a difference between what fans know the team needs versus what the organization says the team needs. That's true. But it becomes more ambiguous now. We're in a position because we don't have the luxury of knowing what the Bills plan to do with contracts and players and 5th-year options and different things like that, and who they're going to tender from a restricted standpoint. We don't necessarily know what they feel their needs are. They might, to your point, they might think we got a really big need at wide receiver because next year after 2022, we got a giant hole, or after 2021 or whatever. Right. I mean, they could look at it that way. And to us, it's like, why are you taking a wide receiver at 30? Like, hello, we got Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders and Gabriel Davis and Isaiah Hodgins and Isaiah McKenzie. Right.
Yeah. And I just think, again, to the things that both of us keep saying, when you're drafting at 30, it's not like you really have a ton of like actual holes.
Yeah.
We don't have like, we have things that we can improve on. We don't have like, because even with us talking bad about our tight ends, we don't have like the league's worst tight end by far. Like we're I would take Knox over a ton of guys in the league. I'd take from what I've seen and heard about Hollister, I'd take Hollister over a ton of guys. If Sweeney comes back healthy, hopefully he does, same thing. So yeah, I'm not
it's funny because we've never had great tight ends. So this is kind of like normal.
Right. And it's like I think we're getting spoiled as Bills fans because now we're good. And we're really good basically across the board. So the one area that we're okay, it's like, no, man, we need to get good. And it's like, it's okay. It's okay. We're like really good everywhere else. We can kind of be in this one area. It's okay. But no, it would be great to get I
guess what I need to know is, Chris, I don't think so either, Richard. That's why the ETN thing is a smokescreen. But for who?
Well, he said earlier in the comments that it could basically force other teams to jump up and spend draft capital or whatever that they didn't intend to try and keep somebody away from you.
Do we really? Yeah. I mean, I don't know that they're playing that kind of poker.
Well, I feel like they are. I mean, every team does. Like this is the draft. It's the game. It's like,
the game in the draft is not trading your picks to people in your division. Like, right? I mean, it's never man, we got to make sure. I was at that game.
We got this Scott Chandler slander.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm not trying to slander Scott Chandler. I love Scott, even though he went to the Patriots and won a Super Bowl. Anyways,
you got Chris yelling at you, man. Chris is yelling. He's all caps tonight.
Chris, I'm not trying to anger you. Please, I'm not trying to turn you into the Hulk. For me, I don't know that there's a real great big benefit in where I was going at before Bruce jumped in with the Scott Chandler thing and I did the snow shovel. I don't know that there's a great benefit to the Bills smoke screening, and I'm just going to throw a team out there, even though they're not the one I'm talking about, like the Falcons, to get the Falcons to spend draft capital to jump up and take ETN. I don't know how that benefits the Bills. If they're trying to play or toy with the Patriots, the Jets, or the Dolphins, or the Chiefs, I get it, but I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. I mean, I don't know. It could be possible, and we'll find out. Bruce is all up in it now. What's he saying?
Yeah, Bruce is here. Bruce is here.
If Bills leak, go ahead.
If Bills leak they like ETN, they might not wait until their early second round picks to take a running back, and that makes a player the Bills like fall to 30.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is that your puppy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good. He's extra. He has moments.
Your microphone is we have the same microphone, but your microphone is so good. The first time the puppy started barking, I almost looked behind me because I thought there was a dog behind. I was like,
wait, what's going on here?
Did we get a dog and somebody didn't tell me? That's so funny.
It would have been Colin Beth.
So if anybody's bored, you can go through Charlie Gross. I was on a show with Charlie Gross last year, and we and I think Bruce was on with him, and Greg was on with him, and a bunch of people. We ranked all-time great tight ends for the Buffalo Bills. It wasn't a great list. It just,
you know something though. Pete's actually my post for tomorrow. You know, I scheduled the post that I do in the mornings now.
Yeah.
So I actually have a post for him scheduled for tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Do we honestly think Jets the Fins being they, which I agree. I was talking with Kevin from Fanatics today on Twitter. I think the Dolphins are definitely going Najee Harris. Do we think there's a world where he didn't believe the Fins were going running back at all in this draft? Like, he thinks we're pretty set. What are your thoughts?
I thought they were going to be looking offensive line.
I'm sure. But they got two picks in the first round. I'm talking about the late one. It's like 16 or 18 or something like that.
I mean, if they're honest to God, man, I can see a running back, but I was thinking that they're going offensive line and maybe wide receiver or offensive line and defense. Like, I think that coach is a very good coach. I think he's smart. I think he's trying to build the right way, same way like Sean McDermott did. I don't think he's going to splash right now on a running back. I think he's trying to build a very good team for time to come.
You're high on the ETN train, and I know we're talking running back. Bruce, plug your earmuffs, Bruce. We're not talking about drafting running backs. We're just talking about the smoke screen that's kind of been out and what's kind of come out this week and whatnot, and just coming off of the heels of the CJ Spiller conversation, the Jim Manos conversation, even the Reed Ferguson conversation. Why are you high on ETN over a Najee Harris? Because to me, Najee seems like more of an every down, like 3 down bruising back. For me, if Najee Harris is there and ETN is there at 30, my heart is going to be pounding through my chest if Najee's still there. Whereas if ETN's there, I'm not going to be upset if they draft him, but I might be like, we really need a cornerback. You know what I mean?
Harris, you're right. Harris is a very, very good back. I'm not upset if we take Harris. But when I look at ETN, to me, I look at basically, and it's not the same type of, I'm not saying profile. I'm just speaking about how electric he is on the field. To me, it's like putting Stephon Diggs in the backfield. So if you got Stephon Diggs in the backfield with Josh, and then you got Stephon Diggs on the outside with Josh, and I just feel like the type of explosive player that he is, this offense could be a whole lot of fun to watch. And
I agree.
And we're not going to run an offense where we're going to need a guy to be a 3 down back, or like we don't need that guy to run the ball 25 times a game either. So with I think ETN is a little bit better suited to line up in the slot. And I'm not just saying this because of what Coach Spiller said. I actually watched leading up to the interview with Coach because I wanted to know what I was talking about when I talked to him. This guy is in the slot. This guy, you see them line him up on the outside against like top cornerbacks. Right. I've seen it happen multiple times. And it's like your running back is going against the other team's top cornerback and he wins. So no. I would very much like to see a Travis Etienne in that red, white, and blue in Orchard Park.
What spoke to me most about that conversation that you had with him was when he was talking about his humility, and he's just very down to earth, and he wants to learn and he wants to be good. That was like, oh, okay. So this is interesting. Chris Jenke, love you being a part of the show tonight, Chris. Thank you for all the content and all the knowledge that you're dropping, the remembering of the players. This is interesting, though. If you force a team to take a guy you have no intention of taking, it makes it so someone you like has a better chance of falling to the Bills. This is counter to every type of conversation that we would have about best player available, because now you're jockeying to take a guy versus just letting it fall to you. So are we in the let the draft fall to us, or are we positioning and jockeying and playing chess so that the guy we want falls to us?
I'll tell you what, if ETN is there, if he's there at 30, I don't care if they positioning and jockeying for what and how they playing chess and checkers and whatever they want to play. If he's there at 30 and we don't take him, man, I might be bad next Monday on the code of conduct. I might be real bad. I'm just being honest with you. And then tomorrow, I'm doing after Bruce and I do the Bruce exclusive live, or I don't know what he's calling the show. But after we do the hour live with Bruce, then I'm hopping on with SB Nation and I'm gonna be reacting to the Bills pick. Cool. Listen, if the Buffalo Bills do not take Travis Etienne, just
if he's there.
If he's there. If he's not there, he's okay.
What if he's there and this guy's there? Because this is the other one. If this guy's there at 30, my heart's going to be pounding out of my chest. Actually, it'd be 2 picks before. At pick 28, I'm going to be like, oh my gosh. Like,
so okay. I can see the argument for him. He's a slot corner, though.
He won't be there at 30.
He won't be there at 30. But if he is, he's a slot corner. Mm-hmm. Are we that down? And I am. Are we that down on Johnson that we want to replace him, or will we prefer to add that explosive piece on offense? So, like, which one would you prefer more? Replacing Johnson or adding that one extra piece on offense? Like, so yesterday on the Spiller interview, prior to Spiller, I was talking to Sterles, and I was talking about the playoff game that you and I went to, how we ran first down, second down. It was 3rd and 1. And I feel like it was Motor, or I mean, I feel like it was Moss. It wasn't Singletary, but we didn't get the first down at home in the playoffs in January.
Right.
I just, and I'm not saying Travis will get every first down he ever goes for on 3rd and 1, but I just think having him in that backfield, it just makes teams a little bit more nervous and unsure of what to do when you line up and you have him in the backfield with Josh throwing it to him with the other guys that we have on the outside.
Yeah, he's Cam's talking about Asante Samuel Jr.
Samuel.
So Joshua Burke says ETN can open up the middle by going in motion to the outside and taking a linebacker with him, more space for Knox and Beasley. As much as that's true, I think what needs to be talked about, because it's been talked about in this chat, Bruce has talked a lot about it, all the content creators have talked about it, about Devin and Moss, Singletary and Moss, and what they bring and what they have and how good they are. I'm on record as saying they're both 2Bs, or like running back 2s, RB2s, or not RB1s. I do believe the Bills know what they have in running back. And what the Bills know they have is they've got 2 running backs that faced light boxes for an entire year and couldn't get first downs and couldn't get positive yardage. So to your point, yes, knowing that you've got a guy, right, that's going to pull people into the box and force them down, it's just going to make life that much better, if it could get any better for Josh Allen. But then you got to go back to Bruce's point, which is, if Josh is Josh and the number 1 head coach of all time, who's a defensive genius, is trotting 7 defensive backs out there against Josh Allen, do you need a running back? Is Josh just going to be Josh anyway? So why not fix the defense? It's a fun draft. It's a fun draft.
No, it's a fun draft because we're not in a position where we have to. I was looking in the content or the comments. I did want to just
I was a marketing major, not a math major. That's a joke.
Well, I did want to. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to feel like he's not just a slot corner. I can assure you, I don't think that he's going to be like. I don't think that he's boxed in to only being a slot corner. What I see when I watch, and then the people that I trust, when the smart people who know how to look at these prospects, I'm hearing that he's a slot corner. So I'm not going to look at him as an outside guy. If Farley is there, I'm taking Farley before I'm taking him. As far as if we're looking at outside, I just don't see Samuel Jr. I just don't see him that way. What about you? You see him? I mean, 'cause I could be wrong. Like I said, I don't know. I'm just trusting what I see and what I hear from the people I trust, who are typically very smart about this stuff.
Well, that's the smoke screen too, right? I mean, there's a great deal of the limited knowledge we have, and as other people get excited about people we've looked at, then we get more excited about those people. So I have a little bit of more excitement about Asante Samuel Jr. just because of the stuff that I've heard said about him, the little bit of review that I've done, and I have not done a lot. What I hear, right? And what the impact that I hear he's going to make. At the end of the day, it's still a crapshoot. He could still be a bust. He could come into the league and do nothing. I do believe that even from a slot corner situation, a nickel corner situation, we all love Taron Johnson, and we all, I mean, the pick against the Steelers, the pick against the Ravens, Taron Johnson is going to go down in Bill's folklore, Bill's history. Like he's going to be that guy. But that shades and clouds, as much as he came on towards the end of the season, that shades and clouds a lot of the trouble that he had early in the season for the first probably 2/3. And stiffening up that spot makes that defense better. So not only do we have a CB2 problem, we kind of have a CB3 problem. Not a problem, but CB2 is probably more of a problem than CB3. But if you can get a guy that's a potential world changer at CB3, it's going to by default make that CB2 position a little better if he can't play outside. It's I don't know how to answer the question. I mean, this is a fun draft here, and Chris was talking about the BPA thing and how it's not completely accurate because like if quarterback is there and that's the best player on their board, they're not taking a quarterback. That's absolutely true. They're definitely not taking.
Well, last year we did it with Jake Fromm. I don't think we ever fourth. No, I mean, but it's still. I mean, I'm just saying consistently for every round. I get that it's obviously weighted heavier for rounds 1 through 3, or probably 1 through 3 or 4. I get that, but I'm still saying like we took Jake Fromm when we had no intention at all of taking a quarterback, and he actually didn't even fit what we were doing. But on their board, he was quote unquote the best player that's available. They had him graded a whole lot higher than where they took him. So
yeah. Chris, we don't think you're mad. We were just messing with you. It was just a
cap. Oh, yeah, no, we were joking. We were joking. Yeah.
Richard Rush, my guy, you're right. The running backs were also getting hit in the backfield thanks to Brian Winters. The running backs also couldn't execute a sweep. So, I mean,
like he's right. Rich is right.
He's right. He's not wrong.
But all I'm saying is, man, there's a speed issue.
Yeah,
there's a speed issue. These guys that we got, Motor and Moss, both are I like both of them. I'm high on both of them, but I'm high on both of them for who they are.
Sure.
I don't expect more out of them than who they are. Now, I expect Devin Singletary to be better than last season.
Sure.
But I don't expect him to be an RB1, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah,
I see Rich. Oh,
yeah. Trust me. Farley scares me with his bad back. So this is the thing you asked me about Farley. This is the thing about him. Is there potential for him to fall to 30 due to his bad back or like whatever it was that he went through? It's out there that he's going to be ready for training camp. There's probably potential. Do I think it's going to happen? No. So in my mind, as much as all the talk and conversation I've heard about him, it's less. I don't know. I just don't see him falling to 30.
Well, I don't know. There was another report out today. I mean, obviously he contracted COVID, but then there was another one that talks about how they anticipate him falling even lower, possibly to the second round because I'll pull it up now, and exactly who I was looking at. They said they anticipate him falling more because there may be additional surgeries or medical treatment needed.
Really? I had not.
I'm gonna look up and see who it was because I was shocked to see it.
So in the chat, and there's not a whole bunch of people in here, so we should be able to get through this. If you're listening to us and you can hear our voice right now, who do you want the Bills to take at 30 tomorrow? Or if you want them to trade out of that spot, so list a player, this is who I want, or say trade up, trade down. So give me in the comments section who you want the Bills to take tomorrow night at 30. And go. There's like a 10-second delay, so it'll be a moment. While you're Googling.
Well, who do you want? Oh, it was Benjamin Albright. He posted this morning. He said, just as a teaser, I'll tell you before it drops, I did not have Caleb Farley in the first round. Multiple teams have told me they're convinced he needs and will need additional surgery.
Really?
And that was this morning. So, but like I said, I don't know exactly to what extent the back injury is. Like, I don't know how healthy he is or isn't. If this report is true and he needs additional medical attention for his back, then but if that guy is anywhere near healthy and he's available at 30, he's the only guy I would not be upset for not taking ETN for.
Even if he needs additional surgeries and he's not available next year at all or this year at all?
If he's not available this year at all, but then say he comes back next year or the year after and he's Trey White on the other side. So we got 2 Trey Whites. I don't know how mad I'll be about one season, man. Levi wasn't the worst.
Well, now we're getting into your windows. Now we're getting into your window conversation from last week.
Yeah. I still think I want the running back. I want the running back or the cornerback.
You know who isn't getting talked about a lot is Mookie's guy, Owe. Who just
I don't know much about him, but Mookie has been going in about him. Yeah.
What do you need to know about him is his measurables. His measurables at the combine were off the charts.
Off the chart, yeah.
But does that translate into I put the pads on Sunday in September and I'm now off the charts as well? I don't know.
Well, I don't know, but I know we need help in certain areas, and cornerback is one of them.
Yeah,
and I would absolutely love if Farley, if he's healthy, if we were able to get our hands on Farley, man.
We're gonna learn a lot tomorrow. Richard Rush says Jack, but he'll never be there. Big nickel beast. We're gonna learn a lot tomorrow because if the Bills end up taking a guard or a linebacker, right? I mean, or pick a safety. We're going to be like, oh, they're legit taking the best player that's left on their board. Like they're just scratching off names and like they've got a top 100 and they're scratching them off from 1 and through. It's like, oh, that guy's left. We'll take that guy. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. So, here we go. Chris has got a question for you. A trust or medical our medical and strength and conditioning team. We seem to be able to keep players healthy. So I would love Farley if he falls. I don't think it's about keeping him healthy. I think it's about getting him healthy. Right.
But you know what? I'm on the same wavelength as you. I think that if they're willing to take the chance and say, hey, for 2 years in a row, we've gotten awards for our medical staff. And we're best in the league here. We feel like we know what we're doing well enough to get you to the point where you can come to Buffalo and be the best version of yourself, both physically, mentally, and just as a man. You can come and play football here.
I like it.
I'm with you, Chris. I'm with you.
I love this. And I have a follow-up to it. If ETN is there at 30 and the Bills didn't take him, you think the Jets or Dolphins grab him with the second?
Yes. If ETN makes it to them in the second round, he's not making it to us again. You know, if we pass up on him, he's gone.
Well, hang on. I think that we've seen it in the past. I think there's a great chance that the running backs may fall into the second round. And then you could see the Bills, and then you could see the Bills move. You think he's going to go over Najee Harris?
I think both those guys are gone. Honestly, I don't think we see them at 30. Either one of them. I know a lot of times we hear people saying like, "Oh, both running backs will be." I don't think we see either one of these guys at 30.
And I haven't seen Bruce around, so Bruce probably split. But what about like Javonte Williams? He believes Javonte Williams is the number one running back in this. And I saw another. Oh, where did I see it? I saw another stat thing that had somebody different, and I don't remember who it was above everybody else. I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, I also feel like Clemson plays a little bit tougher defenses than UNC. I could be wrong.
I agree, but Marshawn Lynch came from UCLA. He was Cal, right? No, not UCLA. He came from Cal. I mean, I don't know that. I don't know how much. Fred Jackson came from College. I mean, I don't know how much that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, like Fred Jackson is not a normal. Like so when we're talking about Fred Jackson, we're talking about undrafted talent. Like Fred Jackson didn't give us Hall of Fame talent. He didn't give us LaShawn McCoy type.
No, he did not. He did not. Where
when we're talking about McCoy went to Pitt.
Pitt, yeah. Again, Pitt's not
right. But what I'm saying is when you look at Shady, it's clear. Like it jumps off it doesn't matter what school he went to. I think when you look at ETN and you look at when you look at Najee and you look at both of them, it's like you just know these guys are guys.
He's going to one of these teams.
I do. I agree. I don't think we see him, man. I would love to see him, but I don't think we see him.
Yeah. And the reality is the Jags could end up. I mean, well, maybe I don't know.
I think it's the Steelers because getting like they didn't re-sign James Conner. I just think the way it's going, you're at the end of Ben's career. We saw what Ben looked like. He still can throw the thing. He can sling it, but he's not Ben that he was.
Right.
I think they're going running back.
They'd be smart to move up and take a quarterback.
They'd be smart to take an offensive lineman.
Right, but they need a quarterback. I mean, if Ben makes it through this season, I don't know that he's got 2022 in him.
They need some of everything though. Their roster, they're at a point right now where it's going to be ugly for them for a couple of years. God bless their coach. I love their coach.
I don't know how he does it because, your twin brother. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, that's my guy. I love that dude.
How can you not like Mike Tomlin? Mike Tomlin's great.
I don't know. Like there's certain people. It's just like, how can you have a dislike for him at all?
No, he tells it like it is to the microphone. Like he doesn't smoke screen people. Like he protects his players. It's great, and he never loses. Never has a losing season. Bring me that guy.
They're two different dudes. They're two different dudes, but I look at him and Sean McDermott the same. Like
similar.
they remind me of each other, but obviously completely different guys and different. But to me, they're the same type of coach for me.
Yeah, Spencer says keep Motor third-year breakout. I don't know that I've ever heard of the running back third-year breakout. Have you heard of that before?
No, but you know what? I mean, we see Tyler's article that he wrote when he spoke to Motor, and Motor seems to think that this year, he has some things that he is doing that will translate on the field. I hope to see it. Oh, and bringing Motor back up, I wanted to mention that. So last season, you didn't beat me up. But I don't know if you remember, people were beating me up because I kept saying, dude, we really got to fix this running game. We need a running back. We need a running back. And everybody was like, no, why do we need to run it more? And I'm like, I don't need to run it more, just more efficiently, like better. Sure. And I kept saying it. Who got benched in the AFC Championship game?
Well, he dropped a ball.
He dropped a ball, but
Moss got benched in the 49ers game. I don't where are you going with this? I'll let you finish.
No.
Singletary got benched.
Moss got benched, Motor got benched, everybody got benched in the running back room.
Right.
What I'm saying is we need to have talent back there that's going to show up.
I agree.
We need it. If we had a running game during the AFC Championship, I'm not saying we would have won just because we had a running game. It would have been a different game.
No. Yeah, the problems with that football game, the AFC Championship game, go further than the players that were on the field. Nobody was prepared, and I will go to my grave using proof that ownership for the Bills tried to pass a rule that head coach or assistant coaches and like personnel couldn't interview until after the championship game, which tells me that they're like all of our guys were distracted. I don't remember arguing with you that the Bills needed help at running back. I'm not saying I did or didn't. I don't remember just off the top of my head.
No, I said you didn't. You did.
Yeah. If I go back and I think it's because we thought Devin Singletary showed a ton of promise. Like we were pretty much, I was relegated to the fact that I was of the opinion that he played better than Gore and should have played more than he did in 2019. Yeah. And he was going to continue that. Right.
Like, but I'm talking about as the season progressed. I'm talking about when we were getting into like weeks 11 and 12. I'm talking about I'm not talking about getting into the season. I'm saying like towards the end when we were headed to the playoffs, I'm like, yo, we really got to do this running game. If we don't get this running game going, man, it's going to hurt us. And everybody's like, no, throw the ball. We finally can throw the ball. We're going over 300 yards now. Throw the ball. And I'm like,
well, that was me. That was absolutely me. I was just like, we can't run the ball. Throw it. Like throw the foot. Like that's what we do well. We throw the football. Just throw the football.
And I'm with you. Throw it, but run it too.
But no, there needs to be whether it's the ability to run games out, whether it's the ability to do something different. If the weather is really, really bad, I don't believe in the narrative that like Josh Allen can't throw in the winter and that like nobody can throw in the winter because Aaron Rodgers does it all the time. Like there's a lot of guys that do it all the time, throwing cold weather. Running back, it's important. They've got to have, but the question is are they hedging their bets that they fix the offensive line or they can fix the offensive line? And that will make Moss and Singletary better. I don't know. Maybe they're worried about it. And maybe they're not worried about it. Maybe they're like, man, it'd be really great if somebody falls to us, but if they don't, we're good.
Yep. Pretty much. I'm just hoping that they do the right thing and take ETN or Farley tomorrow. That's all I'm hoping for.
If they're there.
Just do the right thing, Bills. If Farley is there at like, I don't even know what their number is to move up. And I don't know what is safe for them in their mind to move up. I don't know what's too expensive to move up. But I feel like either one of those guys, if one of those guys are at like, I don't know what their number is, but man, go get that guy.
I just don't want another AJ Epinesa. I'm not interested in a developmental guy. And I know that whoever you're taking in round one, unless you're taking a guy that's got potential generational talent, but needs a couple years to develop. And Jerry Hughes is coming off the roster in 2 years. So you're going to give him 2 years to kind of grow into his body. That's fine. But in the first round, in my opinion, you got to hit a dude that's going to hit the ground running.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I know that AJ was a second round pick. So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like, I want to see a guy.
Before we traded our first round pick away, people were projecting him to us for the first round. Like we were going to, that's what the hype was, that we were going to draft him anyway.
What a bust that would have been. Holy crap.
Well, no, I mean, it's, I don't think it would have been a bust.
It would have been great. It would have been great. We'd be having a different conversation right now.
Well, no, it was the year of COVID, man. It's the year that everything happened. I don't think, 1 year from a rookie, and we have this discussion all the time about players developing. I don't think we would have called him a bust after 1 year. He wouldn't have been Aaron Maben.
So this is a great conversation. A great question. Richard Rush asks, what about the run game was the scheme and not the backs? What are they going to do? Is Brian Daboll married to the idea of running a wide zone? And we don't have that answer. If he's married to running the idea of a wide zone, then he's already putting himself in a position to potentially not succeed. And you can argue that the reason they had so much trouble going from the pin and pull to the wide zone is because they did not have a preseason to get cohesive and that offensive line didn't play the whole season together. And they put Quentin Spain on the bench and then brought in Brian Winters. Nobody knows why. There's a lot of reasons. What we don't know is whether or not they're going to try to force those guys to play it, or they're going to go back to something, right, that maybe they can do a little more effectively. We don't have that answer.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun.
Casual draft talk without talking about like super player specific who I want in this round, like nitty gritty.
It's here, man.
Yeah, dude.
You ready for it tomorrow?
Yeah. I got to work until 8. So I'm probably gonna miss the first couple picks, but I love the draft. It's fun to watch. I love the whole entire weekend. It's just I love the sounds. I love the diddle dum dum. Right. I love all the little. I have a hard time flipping back. Last year was funny because with COVID, ESPN and NFL Network were showing the exact same stuff. Like there was no but I prefer certain people on certain days. Although I think this year it's going to be different. I used to love Gruden. I used to not be able to stand Kuiper, but Kuiper is getting a little bit better. I loved Mike Mayock before he went to the Raiders. There's just some guys out there that I can't stand. And then there's some other guys out there that I like to watch. It just kind of depends on the day, but yeah.
Yeah. With you. Same.
Yeah. So you watching NFL Network tomorrow? You watching ESPN?
Actually, I'm guessing I'm going to be live with, SB Nation. So, I don't know if there's going to be like a shared platform or if I'll just kind of jump in the room when they pull me in or what. But if I'm watching it by myself, I'll be watching it probably ESPN.
ESPN. Gotcha. I don't know. I'm going to flip around and kind of see how I feel. I usually watch the NFL Network, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited.
Well, hey, I'm going to get out of here, man. We're going over time. But before I do, I don't know if you got anything else coming up that we didn't already announce. Next week for me, though, Monday night, I have a special guest, Mr. Marlon Kerner. He's the former director of player engagement and alumni for the Buffalo Bills. He's also a former third-round pick for the Buffalo Bills. So he's going to be joining me next Monday night live. That's going to be fun. We're going to talk about everything from, well, first, let me explain kind of really quickly what his job is. So sure. What he does or what he did when he was with the Bills, because now he actually is on to bigger and better things as far as doing things in the community. So he's doing some different things. But what his job is literally when players come into the league, he's the guy to help them figure out how to put their money in the right place. He's the guy that when careers end early, he's the guy that helps players go back to school. He's the guy that helps players retire when they don't have a plan. He helps them put a plan together. He's also the guy that your alumni, your favorite alumni, when they have those alumni days and those moments, yep. He's the point of contact for that stuff. So it was a fun time getting to know him. So I'm looking forward to this interview coming up next Monday. So join me for the Code of Conduct Live, same place. You already know how it goes, man. And then whatever else Joe got going on, because he always got the hotness.
Oh, please, CJ Spiller, man.
You do though, man.
I'm just trying to survive in this game. I'm just trying to survive.
No, man. No.
So Friday night, 2 days from now, I'll return to the Off Tackle with John Fina show, which I'm really excited about. Sunday, my special guest is supposed to be this guy from Rumblings, does the Code of Conduct show. His name's Jay Spence the King.
Hey, let's get it. Let's get it.
I have no idea what we're going to talk about. There's supposed to be the mention of a potential announcement. We'll see. I got some work to do, but for those of you that have not been paying attention or have been paying attention to my tweets, I've been tweeting very cryptically from the Overreaction Sports Podcast Twitter account. There's an announcement coming. If it does not come Sunday, it will be coming soon, but there's an announcement coming from Spence and I that's really, really fun and really cool. Next week, other than that, I got you on Sunday, and then it's kind of back to normal. Hump Day Hotline on Wednesday, and just kind of chill. Like, I'm excited to coast through this weekend, and it's like the Masters, right? But it's not the Masters. It's like the Masters for football because it's a 3-day event, and eat a lot of crappy food, drink some beers, right?
Yeah, just get back to normal.
Get back to normal.
That's what I'm ready for. I'm ready to like now look forward to the schedule release. Like, I'm looking forward to those things. Like,
hopefully that'll be out before next week. If that comes up before Wednesday, then we'll have that to talk about. I'll DM my address, Chris. And then this is fun. We've been talking about this the whole show, so this is weird. But Josh asks, if you're Beane, what do you do at 30?
Yeah,
we just finished an hour and 10-minute show, and I don't know that I have an answer.
Well, no, for me, if they're available, I'm going Farley first, and then ETN as my second if they're available.
Yeah. This will happen Sunday night for us. We'll definitely recap the draft on Sunday night.
Yeah. That's basically what Sunday night's gonna be.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about what happened at 30. So, and I'll be honest with you, I have a lot of hope that they don't even pick at 30. So there's a guy that they want that they feel is going to be a game changer that gets them ahead of Kansas City that they go up and get, or they're like the draft is coming to us and somebody just offered us a whole bunch of picks, or we're just going to fall back.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to either one. I'm hoping that we do get a game, even if it's not the guy I want. If it's a game changer that can help us, man. We got that window, man. I want a Super Bowl. I need one.
I think we all need one. I don't know. Is Richard Rush going to guess, or is he dotting us because he thinks we're gonna say something? I don't know. Suspense. We got to leave him in suspense. Anything else for you?
No, nothing else for me, man. I appreciate everybody. Riding with me this week. It's been a long week so far, but we're halfway there. Yeah. Halfway there.
This may have been the most chill episode we've ever done.
I think so, because I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted.
That's not why. It's all been talked about. Like, we're at the point where it's like, crap, we're getting off the pot. Let's do this.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm just exhausted with draft talk. Like, that's what I mean. I'm not sleepy. I'm about to go play with my dogs or something. Let's have this draft and find out what happens. But ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching the Hump Day Hotline. We haven't even talked about the network on the Buffalo Rumblings vidcast multicast network. It's that like
Hump that like. I haven't been paying attention. We've got 8. I haven't been paying attention to anything. So it's just been like totally just kind of like cruise control on this thing, just talking about stuff. So, but it's been fun. I've enjoyed the conversation. It was fun to kind of go through like old draft picks that we should do that sometime too. Just go through like old draft picks and memories and things like that. But we'll have to figure out how to set that show up because it was very.
We should do an all first round team.
Oh, that'd be fun. We could bring Chris Janke on something like that because he had all those stats. It was crazy.
Or maybe not even a first round team, but just a all draft team. Like let's each guy put together their roster.
Yeah.
And we can that'll be fun. So Chris, we'll coordinate that with you, man. We'll make that happen sometime soon. We'll get you on and we'll do a 53.
That'd be fun. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you listening to us, including my mom who was in here, my little brother Andy who was in here. So with that, we'll see you guys on the other side. Joe Miller, Jay Spence, go Bills.
Go Bills.
Talk to y'all later.